Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast, The Engineer Whisperer Transition into a Director Role. And today, my guest is Carlos. Carlos, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to you, Andrea. This is great. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited to find out more about your journey. But before we start, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Carlos Abrego. I'm currently a senior operations director for a company called Reliance Foundry in Vancouver, Canada. And I started out as a mechanical engineer. I was born and raised in Argentina, and I moved to Canada long time ago, like 44 years ago. And I've been here ever since. I have lots of stories to tell.
Thank you. Well, let's jump right in. I'm so curious about your transition into this role of leader of leaders. So let's start with what came easy for you in your transition?
Oh, what came easy? I would say not much. It's a really, it can be a difficult transition. Uh, I did have some natural ability to communicate and to build trust with people. And I'm very, very interested in people. And when you are at this level, you really do need to make people your number one priority. So I would say that it was not really uphill for me. That one was, it just came natural, and I just had to uh, focus on it more, like just make it understand that this really is a priority. And as such, the kind of reading materials that I do and the people I connect with, it's all to support that kind of skill set that you need for this type of role. So those kinds of things, having a view, like a high level view, as opposed to being in the weeds all the time, because when you're in this kind of roles, it's more strategic. In order to be successful, you need to be able to spend less time in details. You actually had to count on your team to deal with details, and you had to think not so much on today, but you had to think more in next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
So did that
And
come
so
easy or that was part of the challenging part?
it came natural to me to think that way. Now, obviously, it's always challenging to try to think what is the world going to be like 10 years from now. So it is an interesting job because it has challenges like that. But to me, that never scared me. That's what I mean by it being somewhat on the easy side, because I was ready for it. Oh, I'm always thinking in the future.
So Carlos, I forgot to ask, were you invited into this role or was this always part of your career development plan?
Yeah, it was not in the same company I was working for. So before, maybe I should rewind a little bit and talk a little bit about how I started. So I started as a design engineer, and I spent many years in product development. And then after that, the transition went into, after working in several companies, because you do really need to move around between companies to kind of try different things and really broaden your knowledge set. Uh, then I became a program manager. And that was a jump into something that took some risk. And that is completely different kind of job, where now I am trying to organize engineers. I happen to have discovered that engineers are not generally naturally inclined to be organized. And so I used to say to people when they ask me, what does a program manager do? I would say, well, let's just see. So I work with a bunch of engineers. Without a program manager, the engineers wouldn't even be able to tie their shoes, because they'd be looking at their shoes and go like, they tie the shoe and go like, oh, this is not done right. Oh, okay, let's just do it, try a different way. Oh, it's this way or that way. Or the laces, something wrong with the laces. We need to redesign the laces. So then when you have either project manager, program manager, they will just kind of box you in and say like, no, hold on. No, the task is just tying the shoe. And these are the requirements. The shoe must be tied in such way that the shoe shall not come off the foot. That is all, right? So then that kind of working like that kind of got me interested in people and people's behaviors and people different personality types and how everybody has a different communication style and therefore you had to adjust to that and you had to learn more about how to do it. And being a program manager for 12 years taught me to actually lead without having positional power.
Oh,
Because
yeah, that's for
generally, as a
sure.
program manager, you don't have direct reports unless you have, like a very large company, you might have project managers reporting to you. But in my case, I did not have direct reports. So you had to actually talk people into doing work and doing the work when it needs to be done. And that is very difficult.
Or the other side, understand, communicate in a way so they understand from their perspective how to tie the shoe, why you tie the shoe, why you do it this way, why
Right.
you don't have time to redesign the shoelace and the holes and the whole shoe. I got that part. Yes. Yes. So uh yeah, so that creating that alignment between
Mm,
what the vision is
right,
and how they fit in. I mean, I can
right.
see that. I can see that. uh you're hinting about that.
Exactly, and the other part. So that's the part in terms of leadership and understanding, working with people, and all that kind of stuff, and getting thoughts organized and help people get organized. The other part is that as a program manager, you have to deal with um, representing the team at on a larger or a higher scale. When you present program updates and stuff like that, you're usually talking to vice presidents and CEOs and COOs, and you're presenting the story and you're giving them the bad news that the project's either late or there got some challenges, whatever.
Yes.
And so then you develop that other skill. And
Tell me about
and
that other skill. What do you mean?
right. Well, it's like you have to be able to give the bad news and project confidence, and when you actually speak about the challenges, that it doesn't come through as well. You guys just don't know what you're doing. You have to speak about it with confidence and present the data that supports that these are the challenges and these are the risks that we would take if we try to push a project to be finished by a certain date. Like, okay, we can do this way. Like, for example, it could be we can design it cheaper, we can design it faster, but we take on this extra risk, for example. So then you learn about risk management, right? And
Yes.
also then you need to learn about economics. Then you learn about costs and you learn about business cases. You learn about how, if we add this feature, we might sell more of these products and therefore you would have more revenues. But it brings these other issues, which is time to market, maybe might suffer, and that means you lose some revenues for the first year. So there's all that kind of economics piece. There's pieces about operations, which usually engineers don't deal with for the most part. It depends on what company. If it's a small company, maybe. But understanding operations, understanding overheads and variable overheads versus fixed overheads, and understanding warehousing constraints, and then there's design for manufacturability, and then there's quality systems and all that kind of stuff, which you're exposed to if you're a program manager, because you're actually not dealing only with engineers, you're dealing with all the different departments that are the stakeholders that make a program happen, right?
So was that transition then challenging for you? And how did you how did you manage through that? Did you get help? Did you
Yeah,
just
it's
figure it
yeah.
out on your own?
Good question. It's always challenging. Like every day is challenging, for sure. Yeah, very, very challenging. But I'm very curious. So, what I would say to people, if somebody wants to be a program manager, like it sounds glamorous and it sounds like something that, hey, as engineer could transition to that, and then it's a different realm, and it could give me, more opportunity for higher pay or whatever.
Yeah.
And it does sound glamorous, but it's not for everyone. I remember it saying always, I don't see many people wanting my job, right? Because
Well,
it is not easy. It is not easy being the courier of the bad news and having to corral all these people and deal with all these personalities and all these issues.
so tell me what
Oftentimes,
helped you. Tell me,
oh, okay.
yeah, what did you figure out that made you successful? Is it a mindset shift? Is it a tool? Is
Yeah,
it a what was
right.
it for you?
Good question. So I would say my curiosity and my resilience. Like I'm a fighter, and I'm a long distance runner. Running is hard. That's why I do it. I meet with a bunch of guys on Saturdays when we do our long run, and someone will say, "Hey, let's just go run through all these bridges and stuff like that." And I go like, "I hate it." Yeah, let's do it.
So what's the mindset behind that, Carlos? Why do you do something? I can see someone asking, so why do you do something that you hate and from the beginning you're like, this is hard.
Right. Okay, I'll tell you. It's because I truly believe that comfort is the enemy. And so when you're comfortable, you're not growing. And you really, I need to grow. I need to change. I can't just settle. I can't just sit and settle and do nothing. So I had to always find some challenge, something that is difficult. And that's when I feel the growth, right? And that's what you have to have. If you're the kind of personality that go like, I want security, safety, and security, and I'm comfortable being where I am, then please stay, right? Stay there. But if you're eager to always, you've been in the hot seat, taking risks, and just getting the high out of overcoming that risk and getting the high out of climbing that mountain, then that's the kind of job you're going to be seeking. And
That's
so
what came
then
to my mind too when you said running and long distance running, that you get the runner's high
yes.
after you
Mhm.
completed it and you're successful. It's like because you go in with the feeling of and the thought that, oh, this is gonna be hard and almost like I can't do it, and then when you do it, it's such a high, like, look, I just did it, like there's proof, I have data. You probably wear something that says how how many minutes and so forth. So so yeah, that's what came to my mind. That so you're saying that we can achieve that kind of a runner's high even in our workplace
Yes.
by just
Yes.
having an attitude like a runner, where you take on the
Absolutely.
curiosity, you take on the running, you take on the
Yeah.
challenges that are
Yeah.
challenging.
Right.
Okay. Well, you lit up when I asked who helped you. So, or, like, is there, is there a process that helps you? Is there a person that helps you?
Right.
How do you
You
do it?
you do need to build your support group, right? So if you're going to be a program manager, the priority number one is for you to make the connections in a company and understand who is who and who does what. And you need to establish a really high quality relationship with everyone in the company. With anywhere from the person who signs your paycheck all the way down to the person that ships the product that you design, right? Because then you should be able to communicate an equal tone and quality of communication with every one of those people, because they're all going to be there to help you
Mm-hmm.
to stay afloat
Yeah.
when you need something in a rush. You will always need at some point something that needs to get shipped right away. You will always need to know what something what are your suggestions? How do I package this thing? What is the best way to do this? Uh, there's going to be so many things that you don't know. You will always be having to talk to the one that's the scheduler, the planner, uh, the change management person, the quality person, the quality
So
technician.
Carlos,
That says,
how do you establish that? I loved how you said that. You didn't just say
mm,
relationship, you said high quality relationships.
mhm, right.
How, how you do that?
I just reach out to people and talk to people and ask questions.
What kind of
Ask
questions?
questions and you show interested. Okay, let's role play.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
yeah, so Andrea, okay, so I see that you are the production planner. What exactly does a production planner do? By the way, I really like the coffee cup that you have. Where did you get that before we? Okay, so now you tell me about your cup. All right, so what is it that you do? You do this and that. Okay, then you explain to me, right?
Hmm.
And then I go, wow, okay. I really listen, active listening. And wow, okay, that must be challenging. And what is it? What stops you from doing it differently, or if you do this way or that way? And what are who do you talk to when this goes wrong? And so now you're interested in what the person is doing, and the person feels valuable.
Yes.
But you have to be genuine and interested. So first you have to have from inside, from your heart, I'm curious about people. So you have to be interested in people. If you're not that person, it's harder to build a relationship,
Yeah.
right? Maybe
Carlos,
you have to bring.
were you
uh,
always interested in people, or you have learned that during your career?
I didn't realize that I was so interested in people. But yeah, this goes a long ways. But I had a failed marriage that was kind of more, it's a long many years ago, and it was more like you couldn't be yourself with this person.
Hmm.
And then one of the critiques was, oh, every time we go to a party or something, you're always taking the front. You're always trying to be the, whatever the life of the party or whatever. Who do you think you are? So there's always that critique. But then you realize this is really not a bad quality to have. And so then when you're outside of that, then you start to realize I really love people. I love talking with people, and being with people makes me happy. So that's how I recognize that. And so that you leverage that. And then people, they remember your name. You see them sometimes at the hardware store, and you go like, "Hey, Carlos," I'm going like, "Oh, I don't remember their name, but I think he works in the warehouse, right?" And so
Yeah.
you expose yourself. You really expose yourself all the time, um, and it's just a natural curiosity that you need to understand that people are just amazing, and it doesn't matter. You can't just put yourself filters and say, "Oh, I only socialize with these kinds of people," right? You need to show up. You need to. Like bring some chocolates on Valentine's Day, bring some cookies or whatever, spread the cheer, recognize people, see them as humans, not as employees. Right?
What I hear, Carlos, that what you did first uh, is really see yourself as valuable.
Wow.
Because you said first you didn't think that you could be the life of the party, only until you accepted that quality of and talent of yours. That's what I'm hearing.
Thank you for that.
And I am, because I'm such a believer in that we can't give something that we don't have yet. So it does come through as you value yourself first. And I want to emphasize that, because as leaders, I met so many leaders who put the emphasis on the team, on the others, and they want to make others great in their team. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that intention.
Mhm.
But then they miss the part of giving themselves and valuing themselves, and then growing themselves. And they almost stay comfortable at the level where they accepted themselves. And then they create a gap between how am I going to accept others when I only accept myself to this level. So thanks for bringing it up, and modeling it for us. Look back in your life, see what you have, and how can you rewrite your story? How can you see what you have differently and value it differently?
Thank you, Andrea. That was amazing. I didn't know coming in here that I would come to that revelation. And thank you for helping me with that.
You're welcome. Well, tell us about the challenges, we if we missed some, if there's still some, in your transition Or if
Um,
you touched on all of them, then what surprised you?
right.
So
Okay.
which
So
one?
I guess I got as far as program management, but I didn't explain how I got into this director role and why. So my prefacing on as program management was that that's what gave me really the gateway to understanding all these little facets of a company, of a process, like basically order to cash,
I
right?
see.
So the
Mm-hmm.
purchase order comes in. So before that, I was at the just development, product development. Now you have a product.
Yes.
Now you sell it, and that's I used to just stop there, right? Then when you're a program manager, then you know from the point where the sale happens, then it needs to get processed through all this different customer service, however your organization works.
Mm-hmm.
And then the operations, planning, manufacturing, and then you deal with manufacturing engineers, you need to deal with quality people, people that deal with certification and all that kind of stuff. And that gives you a broad view. So fast forward to my last job that I had before this one, 2.5 years as a program manager on a pharmaceutical company that made robotic equipment that made vaccines, right, for vaccine production.
Mm-hmm.
And so when COVID hit, then there was a big, huge growth path. There's lots of programs and stuff. And then we found a solution for COVID, and then the sales went down, and so there was some major layoffs, cancellation of all kinds of programs, and so then when I lost that job, which is really usually is the best thing that can happen to you if it's at the right time that you lose your job. Then I started to kind of make contacts with my network, and within 3 weeks I was here. They rolled out the red carpet for me to join. Right. And it was really good. And it was like it's operations, but because it's a smaller company, operations and product development falls under operations. And because I have an engineering background, then I'm running engineering. So I have operations, which includes warehouse facilities and and then it's engineering management and the program management office. So it all falls under that umbrella. So that to me was a natural transition to that. And it was my ex-boss that said to me, you need to have a job where you actually have direct reports because you're really good at leadership. And I
Oh.
thought, wow, okay. And he was so right because I really enjoy it. It gives me a big high and I'm getting very good feedback. And I've been doing this for almost a year and a half and I just love it. Very rewarding.
So what surprised you in this transition now to have direct reports and though having, way more responsibility than just the program management role?
It surprised me how much I actually enjoy it.
Which
Very
part of it do you
right.
enjoy?
It says, seeing my team because my leadership style is about building people, and I don't work on my own success. I work on my team's success, and when they succeed, I succeed. And so seeing that put into play, so I talked to my friend Terry Swope. She's on LinkedIn. She's a really good coach, and also Christine Passo, and they basically through a number of conversations that we had, um, we all support this building your people aspect. And they say it's interesting to see that I am actually in the field, like I'm actually in the trenches, applying those leadership principles. And so it's wonderful to see that actually works. And when I get the feedback from my people, when I see the twinkle in their eyes, when I see them um, feeling challenged and being so happy that they actually come through and that they become more self-sufficient and they don't depend so much of me. Like I keep telling them, I'm just trying to work myself out of a job. Like if you can, if you learn all these things, you will not need me. That's my ultimate goal.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Mm.
that surprised me.
So share one. one tool that you use with your team, one of these leadership, frameworks, tools, that you got feedback from your team?
Conversation. Conversation. How are you? How are you doing? Is everything okay today? Are you struggling with anything? What is it you're struggling with? Let's just talk about it. Let's go for a walk. How about we just go for a walk? We don't need to go in the meeting room. Go for a walk and just, you can talk about all kinds of things, right? Just understand and just connect. Again, it comes down to connection, understanding what they can do, what they might be afraid of. What is it that in the past has kept them from stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, I have this idea, right? Like you need to create this psychological safety where people can say, hey, I think this is not going to work, or that it's okay to disagree with me. I don't want people that say yes, Carlos. No, I don't want those people. They're not good to me because I don't know everything. I need them, and I keep reinforcing to them that I need them because I don't know everything. I'm not good at so many things, and that's why I have them, right? And that's why I'm so happy that they're in my team.
Oh, just saying those words,
Yes.
honestly, I get, I feel in myself,
Right.
the joy. I had a boss like that who every morning would go around and shake everybody's hand and like, thank you for being here, thank you for being on my
Yes.
team. And at the
Wow.
beginning, I thought that's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. Like we're paid to be here. But but there was one time when he didn't come, but because he was sick,
Right.
and and it was interesting because it was a thought that, oh, I miss him, I miss seeing him this morning, but I
Wow.
didn't say anything. And then someone on the team, as we're all sitting in the morning, still trying to wake up, said, "Yeah, I really miss our boss coming over and just saying hi this morning." And everybody said, "Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Me too." So it was, I thought I'm the only one who felt it, and then it turned into this. The little things really matter. The little things
Yes.
where you are acknowledged and again seen
Yes.
and welcomed every morning, because it takes a lot of effort. We all have different parts of our lives.
Right.
Uh, you know, we're parents or spouses, or in order to get there on time, it takes effort and willingness
Mm-hmm.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
We have lots of other tricks.
Oh, you do? All right,
Oh,
we have time for one more.
oh.
Give us one more.
But it all kind of goes around the same understanding that everybody's different.
How do
So
you do that? How do you
to take in
understand it?
your example, right? It's like, okay, you think it's just ridiculous to come and shake hands. So, okay. So I don't shake hands, I don't go and shake hands with people, for example, and I don't go and thank everybody every day. I for me, it's like I look at who is what. Like I have Jay next door to me. Okay, Jay, he likes to sit down, and he's a brainy guy. Uh, he's uh, he's our purchasing specialist, and then he's planning all this inventory and all that kind of stuff. He wants to focus. He doesn't want to deal with uh, you know like small
Interruptions.
talk and stuff like that. He just does. Yeah, he likes to be left alone.
Uh-huh.
And so it's only I pick the times when I'm gonna reach out to him and say, Jay, that was so awesome, that presentation that you did. That was just great, whatever. And it's just the right measure. You don't want to overdo.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, so I have Percy on the other side. Percy likes to talk a lot. He likes to come and share how he's feeling about something and share his ideas. And he loves to exchange. So if I come in the morning and say, "Oh, Percy, how are you?" then it would lead into a half-hour conversation, right? So there's different styles. So the active listening, you have to pay attention to kind of body movements. And it takes experience. I mean, I'm an old guy. I've been around for a long time. So now I know who is who and who does what. I can pick up on that, right? So
Let me ask you this curious question.
yeah.
Let me turn it on you. How does your team know you? How does, if I would ask
Oh,
Percy or Jay, well,
mm,
what does Carlos
mm,
like? Is,
right.
when do I approach him? How does your team, how did you develop this? I guess,
Mhm.
as a leader, because I think that's also important. It's, yes, I see the benefits and the goodness in getting to know your team.
Yes.
The other side is, how does the team get to know you? So in your case, Carlos, how does the team know you?
You you have to be vulnerable. You have to you have to show that you're a human, that you have feelings just like everybody else. And you have to um, make it very clear to them. I even made a presentation that says this is our guiding principles, and in that presentation I made very sure that this is what we value. This is what my success looks like. My success is not my success, it's your success. That's why I'm completely attached to your success. Uh, I, to me is I want to be challenged. I want you to tell me I think that's going to be a problem, or I have a different idea, or whatever. You build that trust by demonstrating. You share. You stay curious. You always stay curious, and you have to be a human first, and treat them like humans, and not resort to your positional power. There are many small things that you can do. Like you never do this thing as like call someone, say, "Can you come to my office, please?" You don't do that.
Yeah, that
Like
that
it's
creates
just
the highest anxiety
exactly,
in even
exactly.
a
Don't
leader.
do that.
Yeah.
You send a quick Teams message that says, "Hey, is it okay if I come to you?" Right? And then they don't have a choice. Then they could say, "Oh, I can come to you," and I go, "Okay, that's okay." But you see, you offered, "I'm gonna come see you." It means I'm not no different. I'm just some guy. I just have a different job than you. And I never have to use my positional power. That's
Mm-hmm.
the key, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have it. People know I have it.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? Maybe people are making small adjustments around it, but nobody's scared of me. Right? That's
Mm,
the thing, right?
I
You
see.
can't, if people have to, if you want to get the most out of people, people have to be comfortable taking a risk.
So you're bringing that mindset that I don't want to come off as someone that you're scared of.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now I'm curious. Did you have in the past an experience where you had when you felt that way, where you had a
Oh, yeah.
boss that everybody
Oh,
was scared of, and
oh yeah.
it
I've
was
worked in the worst places.
okay, because usually that's what happens is that we had an experience and then we course
Yeah.
correct, like, okay, I don't
Oh
want to be
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
that.
Oh, I've gotten fired before, yes.
Okay, okay.
But it all always ends well. I always tell people, in business, you stick your head out every day. And if your head gets chopped off, that means you were working for the wrong place. So you had to keep doing that. Just providing you can take the risk, obviously, like you had to set things up so that you have that ability that when you can risk things. And if you need to stand up for your principles, and not personal principles necessarily, because business is business. You need to understand they pay you to do a certain job, and you can't say, well, my personal principle doesn't allow me to do this or that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long topic. I don't want to come off as the
No,
wrong.
it's on the business side.
Yeah,
If you're here and you signed
yeah,
in and signed
right.
up to support the mission
That's right.
of the company, of the project, of
Yes,
the team, of what we're doing,
yeah,
so that we can pay you for it,
right.
then you are part of the team and now of the mission, and it's on you too to support it so that we all gonna be successful.
That's very nicely articulated, Andrea. Yes, that
Mhm.
that's it. You sign up. When you sign there, you're saying, I'm gonna do, I believe in what the company is doing, and I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm gonna apply it to the best of my knowledge, my skill set, and my energy to support the mission and to help this company be successful.
Yes.
And so going in with that, then you need to sometimes take risks. You need to sometimes challenge if somebody has a certain view and say, no, I think we should go this way because of this reason. And if the team decides we're going to go that direction, then you need to support that. Right? You
Yes.
can't just, oh, I'm not going to support it. Like, see, there's so many games that get played in company, but
Yes.
success is not that difficult, right? You just have to have an open mind. You have to accept that things are not perfect. You have to accept that sometimes people are not in the best mood. Then you pull back a little bit. People are not naturally trying to be nasty. So there's so many things that come with maturity, right? Like I used to be a kind of firecracker. Like when I was in my 20s, it's like I used to fight back. No, that's my job, not your job. What are you doing? You can't tell me how thick to make this part. You're the electrical engineer. You can't say I'm deciding that it's 14 gauge. You can't. You know nothing about mechanical engineering. I used to argue like this. Whereas now, if that came, I'd go like, oh, I want to hear more. Okay, let's see. We can try it. See, maybe thinner material does work. So that's maturity.
Yeah, and growth. Yes. And some people are stuck, and then
Yeah,
they choose not to grow.
right.
Well, Carlos, as we're getting closer to the end, tell me, what transition are you going through right now?
Oh, okay. So right now, it's the things that I'm trying to tackle is that we're growing. I mean, our company is not huge. There's 40 people right now, and we're growing, and we've been growing for like many years. It's a slow growth, but now we foresee that we're gonna have a little bit more steeper curve. And so we need to set up infrastructure for that. And so there's a lot of infrastructure that I'm working on, like building proper configuration management systems and more processes. I'm doing a lot of recruiting, and so trying to build the right team, trying to make sure we have the right dynamic, and as we grow, to make sure we have all the safeguards in place so that we can the systems that we put in place, that they can actually work and they're scalable. So that's basically what I've been working on.
So I'm curious, what is one mindset growth that
Mhm.
you're working on
Mhm.
to scale yourself, to get yourself to the next level?
It's just doing what is it called when you're doing trying to build the people so that I don't go insane. So if I start to getting into detail, then I cannot grow. If growth depends on one person, it's not good. So the idea is, if a company grows, you have certain tasks and responsibilities in a process that maybe right now one person is doing 5 or 6 of these processes. If it grows, the volume of each process grows sufficiently, then you can hire someone else to take some of those processes, right? And so that the increased volume will just mean we can have more people. But you cannot have everything that's centralized in one person, one head. So if I set up the system so that I have to be in the workflow for everything, then that's not scalable, because now it depends on me or whoever else, right? It has to be set up so that it's scalable. You can put more soldiers and the army grows, right?
You're preparing to expand
Yes. Yeah.
your knowledge of how to do that, and then
Mhm.
help others to come along and expand with you. I think
Yes.
that's part of the fun of being a leader, that you want to, as one of my previous guests said, that you want people to not jump off the plane as
Oh yeah.
you as you start leading and and maneuvering the plane. So yeah, you want people to come along, and how you do that. So, and you also to keep your sanity. So
Mhm.
yeah, these are all important. I agree. Well, Carlos, before we close, I want to give you the mic back. I want you to close us out. What would you like to say?
Well, what I would like to say is thank you, Andrea, for this opportunity, for giving me the voice and for giving me the opportunity to share some of these ideas. if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn. I accept all invites. I'm big on networking. I'm happy to answer any questions. And this has been great. I really enjoyed talking with you, Andrea. This is awesome. And yeah, we should really chat again sometime if you have another topic you want covered. I'm adventurous and I'm game for anything.
Awesome. Well, I like that mindset. Well, thank you very much, Carlos, for your time. Until next time.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.